understand how to create an excellent role-playing gaming experience, we must first ask the question, why do we play? And the answer is both simple and complex. We play games because we enjoy them, and role-playing games are no exception. However, enjoyment is a complex concept. There are many different sources of enjoyment, and without understanding what they are, we will be hard-pressed to run a game that we all enjoy. So, what are the sources of enjoyment in tabletop role-playing games? Let's take a look at this list. Agon is the enjoyment found in defeating a worthy opponent. Aliea is the joy of the gamble, the rush of putting it all on the line when rolling the dice, while Catharsis is the emotional experience of your character. And there are many more. These sources of enjoyment are what give pleasure to us and to our players. Let's assume that the Lord of the Rings is our home campaign. Players who enjoy Agon would enjoy thinking about how to defeat the Black Riders and other enemies on their path. Players who enjoy Aliea would want to take risky actions to see if the dice will roll in their favor, like charging the ring rates at Weathertop or trying to roll for an all-or-nothing chase scene against the fighting Uruk-hai. Meanwhile, players who enjoy Catharsis might be drawn to the emotional turmoils that Sam and Frodo overcome in their long and lonely march to Mordor. Go over the list. Can you spot at least one item that really resonates with you? Remember, these are not mutually exclusive. Most people enjoy more than one element of gaming. We are discussing sources of enjoyment because once we understand what it is we enjoy and what it is our players enjoy, we can tailor our game to include those specific elements. For example, one of my personal sources of enjoyment is asabiya, teamwork. For me, working with my fellow party members to overcome a challenge by combining our various skills and challenges is the highlight of any gaming session. But I have little interest in overcoming an opponent for the sake of winning or competing over who creates the most powerful character. That is not to say that these elements can't be a great part of a game. They are simply elements that I find less enjoyment in. Because I know my own sources of enjoyment, I know what kind of games I would find more enjoyable than others. With players we know well, it's often easy to discern what they do and don't enjoy. If one player has invested a lot of money purchasing miniatures and terrain, they would most likely want to see those used in the game. A player who enjoys deep roleplay and expressing their character's opinions would relish any opportunity to have meaningful interactions with other characters. And players who continuously make jokes and use their characters as the party joker obviously enjoy the humorous aspect of the game. If my party would have been composed of such players, I would try my best to balance between providing more NPCs for interaction, extensive use of miniatures, tokens and terrain, and a comfortable environment for some humors and joking around. If you don't know your players well yet, you can always ask them what they enjoy. The list you saw earlier is replicated on the worksheets for this lesson and can easily be a starting point for a conversation during session 0 for your game. We will talk about how to have a useful session 0 in our next chapter, communication. Remember, new players may not know what they enjoy, so we recommend checking in with them periodically. Armed with knowledge of our players, we can provide each of them with ample opportunities aligned to their sources of enjoyment. Now, we're going to pause here for a moment and begin the first exercise of the course. As you move through the lessons in the Game Masters Bootcamp, whenever you see this icon on the screen, it means it is time for you to pause and take a moment to process and practice what you have just learned. Each chapter has associated resources such as worksheets, summaries, and cheat sheets. These are meant to help you practice and process what we learned and are linked to in the lesson's notes. In this exercise, you will take a few moments to reflect upon what you enjoy in tabletop role-playing games. Please complete the Why Do We Play section on the Introduction to GMing worksheet. We have provided you with the list of sources of enjoyment that we showed earlier. Please rank your top 3 sources of enjoyment in tabletop role-playing games. In your next game, you can also provide this list to your players and have them do the same, so that you know what aspects of gaming you should incorporate or avoid in your future games with this group. If your party includes new players, however, be cautious about overwhelming them so early in their tabletop role-playing game experience. They might not know yet what they enjoy, and so it might be better to save this exercise for a mid-game check-in. Once you have completed this reflection exercise, you can continue to Lesson 2 of Introduction to GMing, Roles and Responsibilities in Tabletop Role-Playing Games.